There's some other factor that essentially was saying. It seems to be that you can get farther forward before you start screaming sometimes.
Maybe that did it.
Which makes this even more difficult.
No, but
This is well worth it too. Just
Yeah, this fight
Hekran
is-
is a really nasty boss in a speed run.
The ability to skip this boss is extremely helpful.
I mean, I guess in theory, using the unequip glitch would make it easier, just because you have to use magic to fight Hekran. But
Yeah.
just skipping him is faster, even if it takes a couple attempts.
okay, let's
Even the current record for Chrono Trigger any percent didn't get all of the skips first try.
wow, I'm really having trouble with this.
But what you have to do after you successfully get the skip here is actually kind of amusing.
Yes, very much so. There we go. So yeah, that Yakra is going to be so impressed by what we just did that that we talk to him and then he explodes. But it is actually, yeah.
Yeah, you can leave the area here, but you won't actually be able to advance the story until you go down here, trigger this again, and make him explode again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he dies twice.
Yeah, because you can jump into the pool and leave here, but
I think it's this dialogue here.
yeah, this dialogue is a required story trigger, and I can never remember which specific event this sets up, but it's something required.
I think the cook doesn't give you the food for the bridge.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we're back at the fair. You know what that means?
Yes. You need to grab the controller away again this time just to make sure.
Gato time. Okay. They call me Gato. I have metal joints. Beat me up and earn 15 silver points.
Right. We went to the end of time to train under Specchio with the goal of being able to surpass Gato.
Yeah, this is gonna hurt a lot because of the unequipped glitch.
Yeah.
I lost. Here's 15 points. Now wasn't that fun? We're all singing differently.
Yes. They didn't really match this to the music too well.
No, since it doesn't matter anymore.
Mmm. Tastes like chicken.
Chicken sandwich.
Chicken sandwich.
Whoops, I actually need to go up here.
Yeah, jump up and ring the bell when you run through there.
All right, round 2 with the Truce Canyon battle skip. Or I guess not.
Yes.
Oh yes, okay.
Yeah.
Just now,
Now
we
it's
have to go
time.
through the end of time.
Did you say you have to do this skip like 4 times?
Yeah, 4 times.
Yes, this is number 2. It's only when you're coming from the gate into Middle Ages that you have to do this skip.
No, not far enough over. I didn't get it.
I like how when you get it, unlike most of the other skips where the enemies stay on screen, you just run past them.
Yep.
The bird carrying the imp just disappears.
Yeah, actually, this is a good. This is a good time to do it now. Actually.
We have a $20 donation from everyone's favorite donor
Jeannot.
saying, "Let's make a couple for Final Fantasy Adventure. $10 for Gina's boy and $10 for Jaina's girl. Darn, I donated again." We have a $5 donation from Koroscore that says, "I'm Chrono. Deal with it." Koro, by the way, suplex this stupid train.
After playing Chrono Cross, I pined for the Opasa Beach thing, where you can just
Yeah.
Guardia Forest here, where you can't just walk right through.
We have another $5 donation from Gester Carle that says, "Sadly have to go."
Yeah. So what she's doing here is skipping some of the cook's text, basically, because when you talk to NPCs that don't freeze you, you can move around. But if you get a certain distance away from them, then they get tired of screaming at you from across the room and just stop talking. And you can kind of dance around just outside the range of the cook to skip a lot of his dialogue.
But go suplexing. Also, Sid shall be named G. Carle. And finally, we have a $100 donation from Weird Chess 1 that simply says, "This isn't a formal bidding challenge, but please put this bid towards adding Final Fantasy Tactics to next year's Crystals for Life marathon."
It was actually going to be in this year,
Yeah,
wasn't
Chess Jerk was going to run it, but then he had to drop out.
So in order to set up the Save Anywhere glitch
Oh, I didn't
To-
set up the save anywhere glitch.
to
Yeah.
skip this boss, essentially it
I need
has
to
to
do that.
backtrack pretty far because there aren't a whole lot of save points in 600 AD in this area.
No, the cathedral is the closest one to here.
I forgot to do that. Thanks for reminding me.
All right, and I am pleased to announce the introduction of yet another game onto this year's Crystals for Life schedule. You bid for it, ladies and gentlemen. You came up with the money. You met the challenge incentive to force my wife to speedrun a game. So I formally added it to the schedule. Thank you, everyone.
She's gonna beat your record, right? I bet she can. I bet she can.
His or mine?
I didn't get it.
So yeah, even though she has to come this far, this is actually the closest save point because there aren't a whole lot of save points in 600 AD Guardia.
Oh, I didn't get it again? Really?
Yeah, but doing this lets her skip all of the battles on the Xenan Bridge, including Zombor, so it's well worth the detour.
Zombor skip can be kind of finicky.
Oh, and you also having the Save Anywhere glitch lets you skip part of the Denadoro Mountains too.
Yeah, because you keep the glitch until you find another room with a save point.
Yeah, I think
and you can
which
carry
I
that
think is
for-
in Denadoro
Yeah.
Mountains, but it's before you. But there's another skip you can do before you get there. My main question though: are mountains nice in this route or not?
I'm pretty sure they are, but you're also pretty nosy at the same time.
Did you give the captain his jerky?
Yes.
Yeah, she already did that the first trip.
Okay. Did you get his hat?
No.
Yeah. Sadly, you do in fact have to
Distracting me
get the
isn't
jerky
hard.
in order to actually be able to do this skip. You can't do because there's too many. There's a hard wall instead of
There
an
we go.
event
Yeah.
trigger in the way.
Oh, this is actually different. Okay, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah. For this skip, she's using visual cue basically of the posts on the bridge to line it up.
See if that did it. This one's pretty tricky.
Yeah, the Zombor skip can be pretty hard.
There we go. Move out of my way.
Get out of my way!
Wow, usually I have more trouble with this one than with Hecarim. Okay.
So here, I think one of the main purposes coming here is to sell off excess equipment in order to be able to unequip Frog. Or
She needs to be able to have some pieces of equipment that she can use to then shift over the next character, but then that character needs to not have anything in those slots.
Okay, yeah, so I want to do Chrono first, actually. So. You have to do this in a very specific order to be able to unequip everyone.
yeah, and then she needs to sell Chrono's equipment so that she can then unequip Marley, because otherwise Marley could use Chrono's armor, and she wouldn't be able to unequip her.
You can see that the timing for this is very precise.
Yeah,
and she
'cause
made
you-
it
'cause
look-
you are-
I
'cause
think
you
it's
are-
just my R button is going out.
Because you have to press R and down at the same frame, I
R.
think.
There we go.
I mean, because this is frame perfect, but you get unlimited tries,
Yeah.
so it's all you lose is time for failing it. Don't sell the tabs.
Okay, so now.
The speed tabs especially are extremely important because they're going to be needed to get
Yeah.
characters to very specific amounts of speed for...
Yeah, speed is so
Later on.
important in this game.
Well, the way that she's going to beat Lavos requires everybody to be at very specific speed amounts.
Mm-hmm.
So losing one speed tab by selling on an accident is actually a really big deal.
The speedrun of this game looks nothing like the last time I watched
Yeah.
it. Oh,
Well, this is a
Yeah.
fun
Okay.
skip
So
here.
this is a pretty cool skip here. So she's using save anywhere glitch to save in that step right there, and
Is this in there?
on top, yay! So that skips the whole cutscene of having to watch Tata or whatever his name is, getting chased away by a goblin, and then you having to like fight two of them, I think.
Yeah, you have to fight 2 battles otherwise. And I forgot to change battle speed back. So I'm gonna do that.
Oh, after the R series. Oops, you missed. Dizzy.
Like if you dodge him, he hits the other guy sitting there.
Yep. That guy is going to be important later. You could also get the gold stone, I think it is, from him much later in the game. Yeah, you do not want to mess up the skips in this room, because if you hit one battle trigger, you hit all of them. You have to fight like
Yeah, you
4 or
get
5
forced
battles.
into
You
all the
can't
other
run
battles.
away.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
But once you've gone through that room once, the game just assumes that you've already fought all the battles there, and because she has to go back through that room again after getting this treasure, but then she doesn't have to avoid battles because the triggers are gone.
in a sense, she likes to have fun with her freedom of being able to go through that room.
Yep.
This is where we find out if mountains are nice.
Yes. Yes.
I love that.
I'm so happy that this got added to the route. They used to skip it.
I don't care, even if that weren't in the route, I would demand.
Yeah.
It's great just because of the man you're nosy.
Yeah. Luca's doing the medio there.
If I ever ran this game, I might just take my time loss, even if it wasn't in the route.
Wait, I was supposed to give both magic tabs to Luca.
Yeah.
Good thing I just barely
Who'd
saved.
you give them to?
I gave one to Chrono.
Oh, okay. Because you do split the speed tabs between
Yeah,
them.
it's the speed tabs. I give one to each of them.
Love the ladder dance.
Yeah, she's doing the medio.
I think we wound up doing that behind the couch for Lost Odyssey because of the amazing slow ladder climb animation in that game.
Yeah, so this one for skipping those battles there, you can't get into the battle while there's a rock on the screen, so she's just waiting for that guy to throw a rock, and then she can climb the ladder quickly without having to fight the goblins.
So one of the unfortunate things about this fight is the trigger we need to progress involves Masa and Mune merging into Masa Mune, which only happens in the fight. So you can't really skip this and just grab the Masa Mune with the fade out glitch. You need to actually fight them.
Oh, okay.
But the
I didn't know you even could skip them.
unequipped glitch is going to make this fight quite a bit easier. But first,
it's nap time.
yeah. The cursor will default to the right one. I don't remember if that's Masa or
I can
Mune.
never remember which one is which either.
And if you hit him while they're asleep, then he will do the combined like X/ counterattack, even if the other one is asleep.
Mhm.
But the left one won't.
counterattack. The left one never counters if the other one is asleep.
Mhm.
That sounds nice.
And since you only need to defeat one of their HP bars to progress to the next part of the fight, you can just bash on whichever one that is repeatedly.
Yes.
Here comes the fusion, huh?
Yeah.
I like this music.
Phew. Shun! Ha!
I guess it was Masa with what they were saying there.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna forget again before I see this again, which one is which, so it's not
I
helping.
love that pose, and also
Yeah.
one thing I like to
Ooh.
point out is that Masamune skips leg day every day. He's just got the dinky little legs.
Yeah.
So with unequipped glitch, the antipode is going to do a large amount of damage.
Chrono. Me too, me too!
Kind of reminds me of King Hippo.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. The mouth on that guy just screams Akira Toriyama
It
did the
does.
sprite work for this game, though. But because of the, also because of the unequipped glitch, Masamune's wind attacks are pretty trivial.
Yeah.
Because wind, light, and lightning are all considered the same element. And that's one of the ones you get resistance to from the unequipped glitch.
Also, slash attack counts as lightning.
Mm-hmm.
So when you attack and he counterattacks with slash here, it is going to do a very small amount of damage.
Yeah, so when he's charging here, he'll counter, and so normally you don't want to attack him, but it's going to do no damage.
Yeah, it makes more sense in the Japanese version just because the element is called sky instead of lightning. So the fact that you have light and wind attacks that are part of that element is.
But you can
makes more
cancel
sense there.
the charging when he's charging for a big attack here just by using slash on him.
I don't want him to actually do his attack that he's charging up for, because it will hurt.
Ow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now he's in his second phase where he hits harder.
And especially with the unequipped glitch where your physical defense is much lowered, it hurts quite a bit.
Yeah, so I'm going to be careful here.
He hasn't attacked the second time yet. In
I
practice,
think-
he attacked Marley like twice, almost immediately, and just took her down.
You know, I think if you did everything right and didn't do any extra resets or anything, that you could manipulate RNG here.
But yeah, this combination of the unequipped glitch increasing the amount of damage you do with magic attacks is basically how we get through without getting any experience in this run. A very minimal amount of experience, I should say. Otherwise, a lot of these fights would be extremely difficult.
Yeah, because I think in the old route you had to bring different, like bring Robo, I think, to this
And do
party,
fire
just so you'd
punch.
have more. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you'd have. But Antipode just breaks his world.
Yeah.
I'm still uncertain how the Masamune turned evil between Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross.
Yeah, I never understood that either.
The very slow animation.
We saw the hilt of the sword, and now it's the blade.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Like to be able to ride the wind. That sounds like fun.
It does. Whee! Boing,
Except
boing,
that
boing.
bounce at the bottom. That
Yeah, that would probably
Yeah.
hurt.
Even though you're landing on sand, it would still hurt.
I don't care what you're landing on, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, if you're trying to get all the endings, I know this part is kind of tricky too, just because every one of these event triggers at this point changes which ending you get in New Game Plus. 'Cause I think you, like, when you run into Tata in the mountains, that changes it. When he gives you the hero medal, that changes it.
So if you
Yeah.
don't run into him on the mountain.
Yeah. Then what? I have no idea. What was Frog doing on the ceiling, by the way?
It's like a ninja. A frog ninja just waits.
Doesn't he do that more than once?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he wasn't he on the ceiling of the cathedral
Yeah.
too.
He just likes his dynamic entries, I guess.
Spider frog. Spider frog.
Yeah.
Yeah, he flexes and then his bicep just goes. Woof.
Yep.
Flex is strong with that one.
Let's see, we're gonna get any news in this run? Not this trip. I think it's like a it's either 1 out of 8 or 1 out of 16 chance of getting into it, finding a new in that forest.
It always throws me off when there's one. So I'd rather there isn't.
Is that good or bad if there is?
Yeah, it doesn't mean any. I mean, in a normal run, it would be good, just because I think you can fight them to get some unique items. But speed run doesn't matter.
They give a lot of tech points too, don't they? Like if you fight them in just a casual playthrough.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and depending what the battle speed is set to, you have to stay in the item menu for a little bit different timing. So especially since Essentia has to change the battle speed a couple times, it can be a little bit tricky to remember how long you need to hold it for.
Is it only the item menu that does that, or does the tech menu do it too?
It's just the item menu.
Okay.
Yeah, so the thing is, I don't like to stay on the item menu because when I'm running away, because when I'm holding R and L, it'll scroll it down way far. Then the cursor stays there, so when I go back to use an item, it's like, where are all my items? Here, we're gonna
Nom
eat
nom
cake
nom
now.
nom nom. I'm gonna steal those guys' lunch now.
No, they actually offered it to me.
Speaking of which.
Oh yeah.
So here, we don't actually want to talk to him.
Yeah.
I messed up.
Using the fade out glitch can skip a large portion of this section with fixing the sword.
But we're not fixing the sword yet. Here, he just tells you about the Dreamstone.
Oh right. I forgot you had to go do that first.
So you just stood by him and you talked to him, huh?
Yeah, this is kind of my least favorite part of the game, to be honest, just because whenever I play this, is like, come on, I want to get to Magus's castle already. I don't want
I know.
I don't want to have to
Let's
mess
go.
around in the prehistoric era. I want to go fight Magus. Hey, this isn't a closet!
So sometimes, there have been times where, when I was using the fade out glitch to skip talking to Melchior, where I thought I got it, but I didn't actually. And so, if you didn't actually talk to him, you get here, there are no reptiles, and nothing happens.
Yep.
So,
You'd be able to kill these reptites a lot faster if you had Robo and used Rocket Roll, but she needs to get tech points for Marley to learn Haste for the final battles, so that's why she's bringing Marley instead.
Yeah, haste is extremely useful,
Yeah.
especially since she needs to have the set speeds at certain points.
Yeah, I mean it's required to do the double elixir glitch, but you also need it to fight for Lava's shell and
Mm-hmm.
maybe some other stuff too.
You don't need it
oh,
for the second
Ayla's
one.
name is
Yeah.
Ayla.
And Crazy Beast One's name is.
I've got to do one battle before I name her.
Yeah.
So you can wait just a minute.
Final refresh now, so that way.
This is much funnier if you
Oh.
This is much funnier if you use Rocket Roll to kill them too, just because like then they're we can't fight more of them. Hey, why can't you just use Rocket Roll again?
Hi.
Ow.
Put her to sleep.
Yeah.
He's awake again.
Yep.
I love Marl's victory pose, so she just freezes in the air like that.
Bethany will just like jump, stand in midair as long as she wants.
She's tickling him.
Okay, Ayla's name.
Is Nala. N-A-L-A.
All these 4-letter names.
Yeah, they're all for
Okay, then again,
Saving the frames.
you can only have 5 character names in this game for some reason though. Like I believe that's the whole reason why the main character's name is Chrono instead of Chrono, because I
Yeah.
know in the Japanese version it's Chrono, the same
Yeah.
as the game name.
Like when she does that, it looks like she's like moving her hair away. Instead of doing like this, it's like.
So there she's kind of exploiting, for a lot of battle triggers that involve enemies moving around, the battle will only start if you are moving when the enemy touches you. So that she just stopped there, and the enemy just kind of decided she wasn't a threat, and
Sniffed at her and went away.
yep.
Walked right through her.
Now for the catchiest overworld music in the run.
What, you don't think it would stick?
Because it's all percussion. There's no melody at all, but it's so catchy. Nga. So the characters she brings to this cutscene actually affects how long it is.
So I have to mention this. Rosenchi just showed up in chat
Uh-oh.
late. How? Because he was watching Adventure Time.
What?
Oh, I wasn't gonna say that.
Somebody's in trouble.
Adventure time.
Oh, the phone's coming out.
Yeah.
That phone caller in Rosenchi, now it's going the other way.
Actually, I called him.
Oh.
I might need to call him again.
have some choice words.
I've got a button mash. Leave me alone.
Drink your soup. Drink that soup.
I was looking out for you, bro. I wasn't going to say it.
Call him. His time is my personal one. No, I don't know his phone number right now.
Oh,
But
I
know
don't
his
know
Skype
it.
number.
Skype.
I don't know.
Might not pick it up. Like a little,
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
They were totally just really tired from dancing.
Yeah.
That's why they were asleep on the floor.
Yeah.
That is the official explanation, right?
Yep. And it worked on Robo too, so. Because all that soup that they were drinking. Just like we have all the soda that the people at the bar are drinking later.
I prefer they call it canned soda.
You mean at all the cafes?
Yes. Sir, I think you've had enough sugar. I'll tell you when I've had enough sugar.
So here, you would normally take Luca, just because you need her for the boss fight. But just for marathon safety, I'm taking Marley, just in case something happens and she doesn't get enough tech points. So
Yeah.
we got some extra ones.
We're
here.
still mad at Kino for stealing the key that we're not going to talk to him. So there aren't any unavoidable battles in this forest area, so I'm just going to avoid all of them.
I think you know your way around this place, having never been here before.
Especially that little shortcut through the bushes.
So I'm going to save and reset here. Hopefully it'll give me a better RNG for Nizbel, but sometimes it works for me and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, because one thing we haven't really talked about a whole lot yet, just because it hasn't mattered a whole lot in the speedrun yet, is that this is a rare RPG where you can it's actually possible to manipulate the battle RNGs, and it controls like what enemies do, how much damage you take and deal, and stuff like that. And that RNG basically changes if you reset the game. It's changing on the save select screen. So there's a couple places where you can save and reset the game, and then either just mash straight through and select your save and try to load it as quickly as possible, or hover on the save for kind of a fixed number of seconds in order to try to set up more favorable RNG for an upcoming battle or series of battles. So if this works out right, then she's going to get more criticals from Ayla during the Nizbel battle coming up. The guy who's got the any % Chrono Trigger record currently understands that RNG manipulation so well that he was able to reset at this point and then have that manipulate all of his battles all the way through Magus's castle, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I haven't gotten it to work. Oh.
It's one of the